And welcome to the studio. Today, I promise it's not about the new MacBook Air M1. I've switched. It's capable. I love it. Most plugins are working. And speaking of plugins, today it's all about plugins. I freshly, cleanly installed everything on here, and I would love to share with you the plugins that I actually really use on a daily basis, the essentials, the must-haves. I'm already doing this for more than 10 years. I've narrowed it down. Those are the plugins I installed first. Those are the ones I used on most projects. Those are the ones I couldn't live without, that are really special, doing certain tasks, and I'll present all of them to you. And additionally, a bonus on top, right now we're in the Black Friday sales week, so you'll probably get most of them, if not all of them, for very, very, very cheap. I'll link all of them down below in the description. Just one little small thing before we get started. As much as I love the MacBook Air and the power of it and the compact size and no fans and no heating and no throttling, I still need a bigger screen. Like, it's time again to install it. Yeah, that feels a lot more professional. And again, all of this running from a MacBook Air, just with one tiny cable. It's insane. It's really insane. By the way, if you're interested in that monitor, I'll also link it down below. And I've searched really long for something that looks cool, very flat, comes with a stand, and just like floats on top of your equipment. Now, let's get the video started. So let me start by saying, actually, if you just get Logic or any other kind of DAW, usually they have a ton of plugins already implemented. And in most cases, they should be enough to make good music. It shouldn't be a restriction. It's not necessary to get plugins. Some of them actually have some advantages, either making things faster or in a better quality. But for the most part, I'd say 20% of the plugins I use are the Logic ones, and they're fine, especially the EQ. I really like it. But let's get to the plugins that aren't included in Logic and maybe interesting for all of you. I have all of the Arturia stuff, every single synthesizer, the big package of them. That one is also on sale, link down below in the description. It is really, really good whenever you need vintage synthesizer, old school, classic kind of sounds. And instead of buying an expensive synthesizer, you can just like get the emulations of them. For example, here we have the ARP 2600 version 3. It's really amazing. If you want to be really nerdy, you can go in there, drag around the cables and come up with your own sounds. There is also, for example, the Mini Moog. It's called here Mini V. It's a classic synth most people are familiar with. It's a classic. It's so classic, I don't think I have to talk about it. Then let's actually get to the FXpansion stuff. Cypher 2 is also a really good synthesizer. Absolutely love it. Then something I think not a whole lot of people actually use. It's called Geist 2. It's like a drum sampler, and it's like an MPC just virtually. You have your 16 pads, and what I really love is the step sequencer. So you can draw in, for example, your kick, you can draw in your clap, transform it into MIDI, drag it into your project, you can tune it, filter it. I really like it for all like drum sampled kind of stuff. Logic never used to have something like this. Now they actually have something similar, so this was a must, and I'm so used to it. So I'm actually still using it a lot. Then the Korg stuff. Korg M1, must have. I think the entire Korg Legacy collection, especially the M1, because it's so unique in sound. If you want to make tropical house, old school classic kind of house, the piano, the organ, the strings, you need them. And there is nothing else that will give you a similar or close sound to actually this one right here. Couldn't live without it. Always first install whenever I set up a new computer for music production. You also got like the Triton, for example, also really good sounds. You can just browse through, select it, tweak it a little, and you usually find something that is really, really good. Next up, Sonic Academy Kick 2 my absolute favorite go-to for all kicks. Whenever I make a kick in recent couple of months, I usually go back to using this one right here. Sometimes I just use it to shape and form a kick for the sub part, because you can fully control it. You can dial in the frequencies. If you ever had problems with your kick, try this one out. You can, like in the amp, for example, get rid of the attack, make the kick shorter, make the kick longer. You see the waveform directly. You can layer it with clicks, you can limit it, you can compress it. It's really amazing, and it helps you. You can even like view in there the clicks, different colors, different waveforms, settings, save stuff. There are a bunch of presets already in there. It's a little more complicated than just using a sample, but we have way more control. Then something unique and weird, Sonic Charge Synth Plant. You take seeds, you double click, you plant them. It's like, you just have to try it out. It's impossible to explain. I actually also don't know what it does. It's like kind of random, but if you play around with it for 1 or 2 minutes, you usually get sounds you wouldn't get otherwise, and can just go straight away and use them. And then UHE Diva, also a classic synth. It looks like a Moog, it sounds like a Moog, but it also sounds like every other classic synth. And you can combine, for example, the oscillators of any kind of classic emulation and exchange it and combine it with a filter that actually wasn't made for it. And this kind of combination thing is very unique, sounds very interesting, and gives you like the best of all of these classic synths. It's like my go-to whenever I need a synth sound. And then of course Serum. Serum unfortunately is the only one that isn't on sale. I actually wrote to Steve Duda, the one making it. He explained to me he just focuses on making a good product. There is never a sale, there is never a bundle, there is never any promotion, any advertisement. He just makes something that is amazing. Serum, without a doubt, I think a must-have, especially for electronic music, especially for urban music. A lot of presets available. I haven't installed them yet. That's something I still need to do. I haven't installed all of my presets in here. Really important, but it gives you so much flexibility. The effects are really great. You have 2 oscillators. You can use the noise to layer sounds, and all of the LFO stuff makes all of these wobble sounds really interesting. And then last but not least, it's a little expensive, and I think it also never goes on sale. But if it does, I'll link it down below, is Omnisphere by Spectrasonic. It's hard to describe. It's like between a synthesizer and a rumpler, so they're like pre-recorded samples in there, but with a lot of flexibility, a lot of weird sounds, a lot of special sounds, a lot of atmospheric sounds, a lot of pads and strings, like everything is in there. You can layer up to 4 sounds, you have effects, you have an ARP, you have this ARP kind of thing where you can automate the sound in a weird way. It's really, I'd say, with Serum and Diva, the 3 ones, I couldn't live without. Definitely not possible. This one right here, the Omnisphere one, it will take away a lot of space on your hard drive. I think 100, maybe even more than 100 gigabytes, but it's worth it. It's very unique, it's very special. Always inspires me. I can just go in there, select the sound, play a little around, and get basically a general idea and like a sound for a song. And that's pretty much it. Those are like my essential sound generating soft synthesizers, MIDI instruments as it's called on Logic. I will do tomorrow a second video that focuses fully on effect plugins, EQs, compressors, delays, and all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch, very interesting, but I think these right here are the essentials, the must-haves. And again, if you're interested right now, the best time to get them, I'll link it down below in the description, as well as my new sample pack number 8 for just $5, plus all of the old sample packs as always in the introduction week included. If you're interested, go check it out. A bunch of kick sounds, clap sounds, really recorded guitars, a lot of stuff that I actually use in my productions. And that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite software synthesizer? you couldn't live without. And we'll see us tomorrow again for all of the effect plugins.